Hello students, welcome to Sunil Physics Club. Today we will discuss electric charges and fields. In this chapter, in this lecture, we will cover the following topics. Topics to be covered. Number 1, what is charge? Second topic which will cover methods of charging. And the third topic which we will cover in this lecture is properties of charges. So let us start from the first topic. What is charge? So let's start from this topic. What is charge? Okay, so first we will discuss what is charge. Very interesting. We all know that matter is made up of an atom, and atom is made up of a nucleus containing proton and neutrons. Electrons revolve around this nucleus in different circular orbits like this. Electrons are here. So we can say that each matter is made up of atoms, and atom consists of electrons and protons. Electrons and protons are basically charge carriers, or we can say charge comes from electrons and protons. Charge comes from electrons and protons. One more thing we know about atom, that charge of electron is equal to charge of proton, and that charge is called electronic charge, denoted by E, whose magnitude is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. So this electronic charge can be said to be the basic charge. So we can say that the electronic charge E is the basic charge. The electronic charge E is the basic charge. Basic charge means the minimum possible charge. The basic charge, right, means the minimum possible charge is the electronic charge E, whose magnitude is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. So we can say that charge is present in each and every body, like mass is present in each and every body. Each and every body has some density, some volume, some area. In the same way, each and every body of the universe consists of charge, and which basically comes from the charge of electron or charge of proton, or we can say which comes due to the presence of electrons and protons in an atom, right? So charge can be defined as an intrinsic property of a matter. a charge is an intrinsic means internal property, intrinsic property of all substances which is responsible for electric force on another charge present in its neighborhood. Right. So charge is an intrinsic property which is responsible for electric force on another charge present in its neighborhood. Next topic is, which we will discuss, methods of charging. Next one is methods of charging. Methods of charging a body. What is the meaning of methods of charging? We know charge is present in all substances, in all bodies. Then what is the meaning to say that methods of charging? Actually, charge is present in everybody. Our desk, blackboard has charge, but we don't feel it. We don't experience the charge. Why we don't experience the charge? Because the total charge in a body is zero. The net charge or total charge, the net charge in a body like chair, desk is zero. Why is zero? Because the number of electrons in an atom is always equal to the number of protons in it, right? Hence the total positive charge is always equal to, therefore total positive charge is equal to the total negative charge, right? Hence the total charge is always zero. But if we transfer some electrons from one body to other body, then we say that the body has charged. Let us see. Suppose this is the atom of a substance A containing 2 electrons in its outermost orbit, and there is another substance B in which the outermost orbit has a single electron, right? So in this condition, if this atom has 2 electrons, then it must have 2 protons. Similarly, this atom has 1 electron, so it must have 1 proton. Suppose by any method we are able to transfer this electron from this atom A to the atom B, then what happens? This atom A has deficiency of an electron, so this atom will have only 1 electron but 2 protons, hence it has 1 protonic charge insufficiency, or we can say that it has been positively charged. Similarly, this atom B is getting 1 electron, so it has sufficiency of 1 electronic charge and it gets negatively charged. So now these two objects or two bodies A and B has become charged. So now we can experience the charge on A as well as the charge on B, and now we say that A and B have charged. Okay, so now what we can say, A and B have been charged, right? So this is called charging, right? We have different methods of charging. The first method of charging is charging by friction. Charging by friction. This is the simplest method of charging, right? What is this? If we rub two objects A and B, suppose we have two objects A and B, this is A and this is B. If we rub both, then what happens? The outermost electrons of either atom can get detached from that atom and can go to the other. Like suppose the outermost electron of this is detached and comes here, then A becomes positively charged and B becomes negatively charged. This we discussed in the previous section also, right? So this is the method of charging by friction. The common example we have read in junior classes. We have read that when dry hair is rubbed with comb, then the comb and the hair gets charged and becomes charged, and if we bring some pieces of paper or dust particles near the comb, then the pieces of paper or the dust particles get attracted by the comb. So this what happens, the comb becomes charged due to this method of friction, right? So this is the method of charging by friction. Let's see the next method. So next method of charging is called induction, that is charging by induction. Charging by induction, right? What is induction? It is a method of charging an object with the help of a charged body without getting in contact with the charged object, right? In this method we charge an uncharged body with the help of a charged body without making physical contact of the two. Let us see what happens. Suppose this is a charged body A which has suppose positive charges, and we want to charge another body B which is uncharged. This is B. B is uncharged. So what we do, we bring this uncharged body near to the charged body. What happens when we bring the uncharged body near the charged body? See, this is uncharged. What does it mean? It has got positive charges equal to the negative charges, right? Means the number of positive charges or magnitude of positive charge is equal to magnitude of negative charge present in the body B. But this body A has positive charge, means it is positively charged. What does it mean? It has got positive charges greater than negative charges present in it. So what this positive charges do? These positive charges attract all the negative charges present in body B, and due to this attractive force, the negative charges present in body B comes to the surface nearer to the object A, and the positive charges in this body B gets repelled and comes and accumulated to the farther end of B. Now what we do, we connect this surface, the surface farther from A to the earth. Okay, this surface is earthed. Earth is assumed to have infinite number of electrons in it, and also it has capacity to store or to accept infinite number of electrons. So electrons of the earth move through this conductor and comes here, and These positive charges are neutralized by the electrons. So these positive charges are neutralized. These positive charges are neutralized by the electrons which come from the earth. Now what happens? This object B has now only negative charges on it near this surface. Now this body A, charged body, is taken away from B such that these negative charges get free, means the force of attraction is now not acting, so these charges become free and hence they distribute uniformly throughout the whole surface of this B, and in this way this body B becomes negatively charged. This is the method of charging by induction, right? In the same way, suppose we want to charge body B by positive charges, then what we can do, we will bring a negatively charged body A near to the charge B, and hence B will become positively charged, right? So these are the two methods, of charging by friction and charging by induction. Now the next one, next method, it is third. This third one is charging by conduction. Charging by conduction. What is this? This is the method of charging, an uncharged body, with the help of a charged body, by making physical contact, So this is what charging by conduction. This is somewhat different from the method of charging by induction. Here the two bodies are brought in physical contact. Suppose this is A and this is B. This is A, this is B. This is positively charged, suppose, and we want to charge this body B. Now what we do, we bring B in physical contact with A. So we can bring in physical contact, either we can connect the two by a conductor. When we connect it, then what happens? Charge flows from A to the B, and B also becomes charged. So now A and B becomes charged, and both here becomes positively charged, right? Suppose the total charge initially on this body is Q. After charging has stopped, suppose the charge on A is Q1 and charge on B is Q2. So this Q must be equal to the sum of Q1 and Q2, right? It is not necessary that Q1 and Q2 are equal. It may be equal when the dimensions of the two bodies A and B are same and they are made up of same material, right? Why this charge flows from A to B? When we connect A and B by a conductor, charge from A flows to charge B. This is basically due to what we say difference in potentials of A and B. About potential we will read in the second chapter, but this you can understand in the way like electrostatic pressure. A has more electrostatic pressure than B, although B has zero electrostatic potential because it has no charge initially. So this A has much higher potential or electrostatic pressure, and due to that pressure charge flows from A to B, and when B gets charges its pressure increases, but pressure or electrostatic pressure or potential of A decreases. After some time the electrostatic potential of A and B becomes equal, and then the sharing of charge or flow of charge stops, right? So in this way both gets charges, and these charges may or may not be equal. Okay, so these are the methods of charging, right? So our next topic to be discussed in this lecture is properties of charges. So let us see properties of charges. Properties of charges. Right. First property of a charge is that what we call conservation of charge. Conservation of charge. Conservation of charge. What does it mean? Charge can neither be created nor be destroyed, but only transfer of charge, only transfer of charge takes place from one object to the other. Right. Charge can neither be created nor be destroyed, but only transfer of charge takes place from one object to the other. This is conservation of charge. This is similar to conservation of mass, conservation of energy. Second property is called quantization of charge. Quantization of charge. What is the meaning of quantization of charge? See, the total charge, the total charge on an object is always an integral multiple of the electronic charge. What does it mean? The total charge on an object is always an integral multiple of the electronic charge. That is total charge Q is an integral multiple n into E, and this can be plus or minus, right? Where this n is an integer. Right? And E we know, the electronic charge. What does it mean? Total charge Q is equal to plus minus Na, integral multiple of the electronic charge. What does it mean? Let us suppose I am saying that there are 20.5 students in your class. This statement is not correct, because the number of students can't be 20.5, right? It can be 20 or 21 or 22 or 23 and so on. Means only integral value of number of students is possible. In the same way, if we say that there are 200.5 electrons present in a body, then this is also not correct. There could be 200 electrons or 201 electrons or 202 electrons, etc. Means electron can't be in fraction, right? So if electrons are present in an integral multiple, so charge is also an integral multiple of the electronic charge. Understood? And this can be positive as well as negative, because electronic charge can have positive value as well as negative value. For example, let us say one example. Suppose there is a body. Suppose this is a body, right? And the charge in this body, suppose this is a positively charged body, and we say that the charge on this body Q has value plus 2.4 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb, right? This is body A. We have another body B. This is another body B. This is negatively charged and it has total charge Q prime minus 4.8 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb, right? So whether this charge Q plus 2.4 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb exists or not, the question. Similarly, this Q prime exists or not. So let's say whether this charge exists or not. This Q, if we represent this 2.4, this means 1.5 into 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19. That means this is 1.5 times electronic charge, right? 1.5 electronic charge. So this is not integral multiple of E. So this charge does not exist in real. But this charge, see here, this can be written as 3 times of electronic charge, that is 3 times 1.6, that is 4.8 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. So this charge is equal to 3 into electronic charge. So this charge is possible. Understood? This is the meaning of quantization of charge. Okay. So let's see the next property. Next property, that is property number 3rd. So property number 3rd is what we call additive property. Additive property. Additive property. This property states that the total charge, on a body is the algebraic sum of all the charges present on it, right? Total charge is algebraic sum of all the charges. Let's see an example. Suppose this is a body, and this body has got plus 2 coulomb charge, minus 3 coulomb charge, plus 4 coulomb charge. So total charge on this body Q will be equal to plus 2 minus 3 plus 4 coulomb. That means 4 plus 2, 6 minus 3, that is 3 coulomb, right? So total charge is just algebraic sum of all the charges present on that body. This is the meaning of additive property, right? Okay. Next property, that is property number 4. Charge is invariant with the velocity, right? Charge is invariant with the velocity. What does it mean? Suppose a body has some charge Q. Suppose this is a body and this body has charge Q. If the body is given some velocity, suppose it is given some velocity v, This velocity could have assume any value, could assume value equal to the speed of light. Even in that case the charge remains constant, means the charge q does not change with the velocity of the particle. Suppose the particle is a, so the charge of a body does not depend on its velocity. Okay, charge is independent of the velocity of particle, but this is not the case with the mass, right? So this is not the case. In class 11th you might have read that the mass of a particle varies with its velocity, and this was given by Einstein when he brought his theory of relativity, and the variation of mass is given by this equation: m equals to m naught divided by under root 1 minus v square by c square, right? In this equation v is the velocity of particle and c is the speed of light. Here v is the velocity or speed of the particle, whereas c is the speed of light, right? So this is the variation equation for the mass. So mass increases with the increase in speed of particle, but charge remains constant with the speed. It does not depend on the speed of the particle. This is invariant with the velocity. Next property, that is property number 5. This is the familiar with all of us, and we know that similar charges repel each other, and dissimilar charges attract each other. This property we know. Okay, so we have these 5 properties of a charge. So in this lecture what we studied about what is charge, how can a body be charged, and what are the properties of charges. So I understand that you might have understood the basics of this chapter, electric charges and fields, and In next lecture we will continue this chapter. In next topic we will read about Coulomb's law, electric fields, etc. So I think you might have understood the concept or the things which I wanted to teach you in this lecture, and we will come in the next lecture very taking some interesting topics for you. Till then, bye bye and thanks.